Oh man, it's time. It's game 3 of this best of 3, the grand finals of week 13 between the Pleyz and Plato, some Tangos. Are you ready, Anna? You are so ready, but you are so muted.
I'm so excited that when I open my mouth, nothing comes out. But I'm really, really, really excited for this draft. And guess what, Gilly? You were talking about Tomb of the Spider Queen, and that's where we are going for game 3.
Yes! We have yet to have it this tournament. I thought maybe everyone was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We got to figure out these heroes before we figure them out on Tomb of the Spider Queen. But nope, we're getting a treat for this last game. It's going to be a good one. It seems like we're about to start the draft. So let's head into it.
Absolutely. And like I said, I want to see some respect bands. Ah, I don't want to see that band, Gilly.
Yes!
Uh,
All right, so we've got a Zagara band right off the bat. Zagara is so good on this map.
I just wanted
So
a Zagara game. Is that too much to ask?
nobody wants to see the Zerg ladies.
Well, we did see Kerrigan at least once, so I guess I
That's
can't
true.
complain.
I would not be surprised if we saw Kerrigan again. Kerrigan is a beast on this map, but we could also easily see the Pleyz ban her out as well, and I'm wondering what they're thinking here.
Oh man, I would love to see Kerrigan on this map. As you mentioned, especially the little nooks and crannies and kill closets, as we like to call them, are really great for Kerrigan play. Ooh, we see a Sylvanas ban instead. So Lost Vikings are available. They have not been available for any game so far. But do you think we'll see Lost Vikings on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Gilly?
I don't know. I feel like people don't like them quite as much. I know that a personal friend of mine doesn't like the Vikings because it's scary to have resources that they're holding when they're so squishy. Like if they're holding coins on Blackheart's Bay, gems not as much of an issue, but coins especially. Gems can also be scary though, you know. When you get into the mid to late game, getting turn-ins on this map is a huge problem, and losing any coins at all is very difficult. So I don't know that we'll see them. We are going to see Jaina. Jaina's a beast on every map. She's a beast on this map. She has a great gank potential. She herself also can be ganked pretty easily, but has great gank potential because of her high burst damage.
Yeah, Jaina is a really great example of a hero that's kind of she's got pros and cons that you can easily see. She deals so much damage, but she's also very easy to kill. So you have to build the rest of your team with that in mind, being able to shield her or heal her or tank for her really well. Now, the Pleyz are going to take Uther, who can do all of those things very well, and Uther is going to be on their side this time. So going to be looking for some stuns, for some healing, and also, you were mentioning holding resources. Uther can do that a little bit easier than a lot of other supports because he's got a lot more tankiness than someone like, say, a Brightwing or... Oh, there's my Kerrigan!
That's why I was like, they're picking him up because they want Divine Shield on Kerrigan. They're doing it. It could have been Illidan too, but Kerrigan is so good on this map, and there it is. Divine Shield and the Maelstrom, your favorite combo. It's time.
It's so great, too. And they both have great stuns that we've seen the Pleyz use before, so... Oh, I'm really happy, Gilly. This is going to be a great game. Now, Plato has to look at this and say, okay, we know that we are going to be consistently grabbed and stunned. How are we going to deal with that? They're going to need sufficient healing, and they're going to need a substantial tank. But they're also going to need to think about, okay, how can we outdo them? We don't want to be only defensive. We want to outdamage them as well.
They need a vision. And I'm wondering now, with a Zagara ban, if that might backfire on them a little bit, because the creep spread, being able to spread creep between the two turn-ins so that you can see both, see those really high-value ganking positions that Kerrigan will be in, they might be saying, well, did we want to ban her? But they still have the option of lots of other options of vision, or they could just choose to be aggressive themselves, maybe counter ganking. And I think that's what they're trying to do here now, is they have Illidan, Vala, and Jaina, and we've seen that combo before. That's a scary combo.
Absolutely. I think this is a great pick for them. They're saying, okay, we're not playing your game, we're playing our game, and our game is damage in your faces. So now the Pleyz are looking at this and saying, we have Kerrigan, who does a substantial amount of damage. She's got these awesome combos she could do with Uther. But who's left to do damage for us, and how are we going to utilize them? They're going to pick up a Tyrande. What do you think of that, Gilly?
Oh yes, of course. The Tyrande is absolutely necessary because they're gonna pull somebody, and then they're gonna throw a Hunter's Mark down, stun them to oblivion between the Lunar Flare from Tyrande and then the Hammer of Justice of Uther, and then be able to take them out. I could see a couple of different tanks happening here. I mean, I could honestly see Muradin, or yeah, I was gonna say Muradin, ETC, or Diablo, but it is gonna be Muradin. Look at the stuns they have. Every single hero so far has a stun. That's ridiculous.
Man, so Pool Plato is going to have to take them down before they can stun them. And that is going to be quite a task. Now, Pool Plato has to be looking at this and, like I said, saying what kind of tank and what kind of healer are we going to get to make sure that our squishy little damage dealers are not more glass than cannon, if you will. We already have Muradin out, so ETC might be a likely pick. Do you feel like we'll see him, Gilly?
Yeah, I think it'll be ETC. And then God, we've seen the Pleyz run Illidan, Vala, and Jaina with a Malfurion. So there's that. I really love that there's so many options left. There could be the Rhaegar. People love Rhaegar with the Illidan, and the chain healing is very beefy for when you've got such squishy people. We've even got the potential of a Brightwing. Brightwing gets the scouting drone, which is nice. She also can polymorph to keep people off of you, which when you've got a bunch of people who are stuns, like number 4 stunners, the polymorph can really help there as well. And, I mean, it could be Rhaegar, Brightwing, or the Malfurion, but they are definitely taking their time figuring that out.
Yeah, and they're dipping pretty deeply into their time pool, but what better way to use it than to spend as much time as you want thinking? They really have something. I hope they have something in mind here. They're down to the wire. It's going to be Brightwing as the healer. I was really thinking we were going to see a Malfurion.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they know what's up, and they do know what's up. And let me tell you about this composition.
Oh, tell me. Rain your knowledge down upon me, Gillyweed.
We saw this in WCA, and what you'll notice outright, of course, is that there is no tank, because Illidan is the tank. Tassadar gets shields and just shields him to oblivion, and with that, you don't need a tank. You've got so much damage, and the healing from Brightwing and Tassadar will be insane. Man, I'm so ready. But what it will come down to is, can our PPST pull this off like 2ARC pulled it off? That's the real question.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is I love the idea of a creative strategy like this. I'm always looking for something that kind of breaks the expected idea of what you should do. But a lot of times when we see these compositions, I get really excited, and then unfortunately it's really tough to execute, and that toughness really weighs a team down. So Pool Plato is saying, we got this, we're skilled, we are the winners, and now the Pleyz have to decide what they're going to do about that arrogance.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe we're going to see them try to execute that 2ARC strategy. That was so crazy to see, but they at that time did have Illidan and Kerrigan together. This time we've got Illidan, Vala, and Jaina, so it's a little bit different. It's not the exact same composition, but the idea is the same. Pleyz have one pick left. It's gonna be damage. It's gotta be damage. Maybe it'll be Falstad, and there he is. The Falstad will be there. It may come down to Hinterland Blast, Anna.
Well, if it's not a crispy taco, maybe it's a spicy chalupa. I don't know, but
I'm Kerrigan, the pull into the Hinterland Blast. I like spicy chalupa. I think that works well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a vegetarian for like 13 years now, but one of the last things I ever ate before I became a vegetarian was a chalupa. Those things are bomb, so I'm going to coin it right now. The Kerrigan Falstad is a spicy chalupa.
Oh, man. I'm just so excited that these teams are bringing it. We got Tomb of the Spider Queen. We've got a no warrior composition from one team. The Kerrigan Death Stun Lock team for the Pleyz. They're bringing it. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. So now we have to think about all of this on Tomb of the Spider Queen, because the thing is, the terrain and the vision play a huge part in this. And we do have Tassadar, who's going to give lots of vision. We have Brightwing, who has global map presence. I really love the Kerrigan pulls. I guess Tyranda's got quite a bit of vision with the owl as well. But how do you think these compositions are particularly going to perform on this map?
Both teams are looking to be really aggressive. We're going to see lots of rotations. We see that anyway on Tomb of the Spider Queen because the lanes are so close together. Tons of rotations looking to get picks and get those early experience advantages they'll be able to capitalize on later by turning in gems to get the web weavers, by picking up merc camps, by being able to push in a lane and take out structures so that they just continue to keep that advantage.
This map moves very quickly. It is very small, very tight, and lots of action, like you said, Gilly. So we're going to see them fight over these 2 turn-in spots. They've got to collect gems and turn them in. Unlike Blackheart's Bay that we saw earlier, they're going to have to turn in 50 gems, not just 10. And the price is going to raise each time, just like on Blackheart's Bay. So this is going to be a longer turn-in process in many cases. And when you die, you will drop all your gems. So we have seen people drop like 30 gems, even up to, we've seen one time an 100 gem drop, which was a little manufactured, but you know, you can really, really lose your momentum there.
One thing I would like to point out is the way we've seen both of these teams being super aggressive in the beginning. I would not be surprised to see it take a long time before we actually get the first full turn in from either team, because they'll constantly be going back and forth. Both have vision with owls on one side and the Tassadar on the other, and I think they're just really going to make it really hard for the other team to turn in at the same time trying to turn in themselves. But let's go ahead and introduce these teams. They've switched on us both games. Now the Pleyz are back in blue. Yell Cow is on Muradin. Kerrigan will be played by Pirate Rum. Zeus is on Falstad. Lex Uther is on Uther, I think. That's lucky. And Evan Drinde playing his signature Tyrande, and they looks like they want to head out the secret gate.
Well, Apollo, did you already introduce the pool Platos?
No, pool Platos are in red. That's all you.
Okay, great. Apollo will be playing on Vala. Charm will play Tassadar. King Plato will play Illidan. Lyricals will be on Jaina, and Radlock will play Brightwing.
All right, well, here we go. We're going into Game 3. Tournament life on the line for both of these. And pulling up the talents, we do have Brightwing picking up that scouting drone, so going for extra vision as both teams really want to be able to control the turn-ins. This isn't like Blackheart's Bay where there's just one turn-in. There's 2, and it makes it far more difficult to stop the opposing team from turning in. We've got something going on bottom, though, as King Plato is getting pretty low, getting ganked by Pirate Rum, Evan, and Zeus, and a great stun from Evan will ensure that Kerrigan can ravage in and take him out, but does take a lot of damage from the towers because of that.
That's all right. That's my girl. She knows when to go ham. Yeah, that's great. I like to see that early aggression because, like we were saying, both teams are going to have to be aggressive and not let up if they want to make full use of their team compositions.
Well, we are going to see the rotations continue as now Pirate Rum and Evan maybe are looking for, they're going to look on a gank for Apollo, but Apollo has that vault, is going to be able to get out safely, and we will continue as we start getting toward those level 4 talents. But here come Yell Cow and everybody else as well. They've grabbed Brightwing. They actually left lane to do so. Maybe giving up experience from those minions, but remember when you've got that early game comp, if you're going to go for ganks, then as long as you get ganks enough to even out the XP gain from the other team who is laning, then you are going to be in favor.
Yeah, already it looks like Pirate Rum and Evan Drinde checking out this turn-in, making sure nobody's there with any hijinks, while Zeus is chasing King Plato back behind the wall in the bottom lane once again. We have 3 members usually around the mid lane and 1 in top and bottom at all times. Both teams paying a lot of attention to getting their experience. Kerrigan again will use Primal Grasp, but not quite be able to take down Charm, who is able to get away.
Tassadar's a little bit more of a beefy one to try to take out. They dropped every stun on him and would have been able to catch him had Evan been able to hit that stun, but Charm got his dimensional shift just in time and was able to save himself. But for now, we are seeing a lot more of the map aggression and map control from the Pleyz, who are maybe going to start turning in. They've already got 20, and I think they're going to continue that up.
Yeah, they're going to be at 30 as soon as Pirate Rum manages to turn in. 0 coins turned in so far for Pool Play-Doh. And Rodlock managing to get away from that would-be gank as well. They're carrying quite a few gems, so they do have enough to make a dent in their turn-in if they could only be sure that they could be safe while they were doing it. King Plato is going to turn in 11, so that's going to give them a start, and that's good to get rid of that many because you don't want to drop them.
Well, we do see the signature double protective shield from the Pleyz, just trying to up that sustainability. Vala is going for multi-shot build as well. So really focusing on being able to clear those lanes really fast, also dealing a ton of damage without having to compromise your position at all. It'll be really important that everyone stays safe because remember, they don't have a tank. So they're going to have to be able to keep themselves healed where they can, and we can see that from a protective shield from Brightwing as well as a healing ward from Cassidar too.
Yeah, definitely having to compensate for that lack of warrior, and they're doing a great job so far. It definitely does not feel like they are weakened by that.
Yeah, we'll start to see how they're able to adjust to it once we have heroics and see far more 5-on-5 team fights. It's so weird. This map is the smallest, but yeah, I always feel like I have to be zoomed out on it just because there's so much going on and so much movement between lanes.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of space between all of the things that are going on. Engagements and standoffs are happening everywhere and turn-ins in between. Excuse me, we have Charm up here in the top. Yelkow, Evan Drinde, and Pirate Rum looking to get a turn-in for Yelkow's 14 gems, but Charm making sure that doesn't happen, at least not right now.
That was a really good scouting drone that was helping them be able to watch that turn in. And now it's gone, but Brightwing always has more charges that can throw one back up. Now Charm, though, has already used Dimensional Shift and now is being stunned, pulled, and will go down. A bit preemptive of a Dimensional Shift as Yelkow will be able to pick up some gems off of him, make sure that nobody is able to grab these gems that he was holding. And this most likely will be a turn in here on top.
Yeah, it looks like Pirate Rum is going to finish off those 50 gems for the Pleyz, and the Pleyz will spawn Web Weavers. They will spawn exactly where the waves are pushed to in each lane. Right now, the lanes are pretty even, so it's going to be right in the middle of the lanes, but that is going to help the Pleyz get a good push going and momentum started in their favor for reals.
The Pleyz are doing what we often see teams do, which is to grab these bruisers right on top of the Web Weavers. Of course, if the Web Weavers spawn, then the mercenary camps go away. But if you grab them right as you get the turn in, then you're able to pick them up. And that just makes an even bigger push here with the Web Weavers. So what we'll see is with these early Web Weavers, you won't get too much accomplished. Generally, you won't see teams be able to take a fort, but they might get Apollo there, not quite able to do so. Yelkow is going to have to jump away. What they'll be focusing on doing is trying to take out turrets as much as possible in each lane to just give them a little bit of an experience lead as they head into those level 10 abilities.
It looks like Charm was able to defend the Web Weaver at the top, and Lex Luthor was able to, or excuse me, King Plato was able to do it at the bottom. But they did lose a wall in both the top and the bottom here for Pool Plato when they lost both turrets and a wall in the mid. So a successful push from these Web Weavers. And we also see the Pleyz now at level 9, solidly about one level above their opponent's Pool Plato. So now Pool Plato really is looking desperately to get their own turn in to even the scales. Yelkow is holding 27 gems and looking for the chance to turn in against Charm and Lyricals here in the top turn in spot.
Man, some amazing patience in the face of fear from King Plato, who had to just sit in this little corner and allow Kerrigan's Primal Grasp to come out before he could jump through. Really, really cool, not freaking out and walking straight into that Primal Grasp. Web Weavers will spawn for the red team because their lanes are pushed. They won't spawn quite so far. But Uther did pick up Clairvoyance here. Usually we see Cleanse there, but really respecting the fact that on this map, vision is key. And there are the heroic abilities for the Pleyz: Divine Shield, Hinterland Blast, Starfall, Avatar, and Maelstrom.
Yep, nothing unexpected. We are going to see that Maelstrom Divine Shield combo that I love so dearly, and hopefully we're going to see it soon. I would think the Pleyz are going to be looking for an engagement after they defend these Web Weavers.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Pool Plato, who wanted to be able to take out some turrets just like the Pleyz were able to, because their Web Weaver spawned so far back there, they weren't able to capitalize on that. They had to stay back. Their opponents did have their heroic abilities, and so they've just got to try to keep laning, pick up those heroic abilities before they get into a fight.
Yell Cow is holding 34 gems, so very luckily getting a turn in right now. They are going to actually have enough to get web weavers of their own, so the Pleyz will spawn web weavers and now push here in the bottom lane, trying to get King Plato out, not being able to stun him or grab him the way they have others. But they certainly are sitting pretty, although their opponent's Pool Plato now do have level 10 heroics as well.
Yeah, they picked up Strafe, the Archon, Water Elemental, Metamorphosis, and Brightwing is still deciding. It's going to be difficult because I know they love the Emerald Wind to be able to push off all of those melee heroes with stuns, especially the Muradin and the Kerrigan. But now King Plato is going in. What a magnificent Metamorphosis. Hits all 5 of them. Invulnerability coming down on Yelkow through that Divine Shield. But now it's over in Avatar. He's having to run away. So both teams using a lot of their heroics, but not really getting too much done with it, as Pool Plato does need to defend these web weavers before they deal any serious damage.
Kerrigan jumping on Jaina, and Jaina will go down quite handily. The response from the Pleyz saying, hey, we are the aggressive ones. You are not going to get our goat. No deaths had happened in that engagement before, only that caught out engagement. And now we have a web weaver still pushing in the top. The Pleyz are going to take advantage of that and try to take down this fort.
Brightwing did end up picking Emerald Wind as her heroic ability, so they are really looking just to make sure that they can disengage off of the scariness that is Avatar and a Divine Shielded Kerrigan with Maelstrom. And they do even have cleanse as well, so that's going to help them a little bit with those stuns. But when you've got so many stuns, there's only so many things and so many people you can cleanse.
Right. We have King Plato looking to get a little push going here in the bottom, but he is going to retreat, which is a good idea because he's holding 26 gems. Looking to get the siege camp in the bottom, so as long as he stays stealthy and nobody sees him down there, that might be a great pickup for his team.
Yeah, I actually like that they were trying to turn in here on top. Although they were 4 versus 5, they at least baited the rest of the team up here, keeping them away from that Illidan, who is about to pick up those giants. So a great play there. They didn't lose anybody. They do need to be careful because they're not as close to 13 as the Pleyz are, and that's when another talent tier will drop.
Yeah, the Pleyz are indeed very close, so if they are going to engage, they better do it before that happens, which is a very small window at this point. King Plato helping those siege giants a little bit, but deciding to back off, letting the Pleyz deal with them while the rest of Pool Plato goes to do something else. The Pleyz will get level 13 now, so they will have an extra talent tier.
Yeah, I was expecting Pool Plato to go ahead and rotate as soon as they saw them going down, but they didn't do it right away, and now we've got an engagement. Pirate Run is jumping right in there, and that Hinterland Blast, ouch! Jaina and Brightwing down. Now they're after King Plato, who has so many gems, and he will go down as well. That is a ton of gems that are not going to be able to be picked up, and Vala and Tassadar just have to get back, and with that, the Pleyz know exactly what to do. They're going for this boss.
Yeah, interesting. We see the gems usually being held by the tank. We've seen Muradin holding quite a few, over 30 sometimes. King Plato is holding most of the gems for Pool Plato because he is, like you said, the default tank, but he's still pretty squishy, so that loss of gems is not unexpected, definitely not favorable for Pool Plato. The boss will go to the hands of the Pleyz.
Charm at least finally got rid of those 30 gems, but is in a lot of trouble. Is going to be pulled back with the Primal Grasp and instantly taken out as well. Was not able to dimensional shift away from there. Isn't quite beefy enough yet, right? Because usually you get the Prescience at level 13, which they haven't gotten yet, and then the dimensional warp after that. Now there's a boss bearing down on the towers in front of their keep, and that means that Pool Plato has got to regroup, defend. They need 13.
That boss is a tough one to get this early in the game too, so it's really signposting how confident the Pleyz are feeling. They're really getting away with a lot of aggression and not having to pay for it. 0 kills right now on behalf of Pool Plato.
That's so rough. Tassadar using his shield to try to keep as much damage off of that keep as possible. They do take down the boss, but now this keep is wide open for the next Web Weaver spawn, which I would imagine will be coming any second here as the Pleyz are going to head straight for the turn-in.
Yeah, and they will get that turn-in. Oh, are they too short? They are 2 gems short.
Yeah.
They just have to find 2 gems somewhere else on the map. That luckily gives a little bit of breathing room to Pool Plato. They are going to grab their bruisers and try to get some push going for themselves on this map after defending that boss.
All right, well, there we go. They've picked up level 13 talents, and we see a lot of sprints on this map. So respecting the fact that both teams can be aggressive and both teams can catch you out and chase you down between that Kerrigan and that Illidan. So, but, oh gosh, already the Pleyz is almost to level 16 when another talent tier will give them an advantage. So they're really pressing this and doing a great job of keeping their experience lead.
Yeah, and I don't see this as being, well, this will be the telltale sign. King Plato jumping in, acting like a tank, and not going down for it, which you wouldn't expect from Illidan, getting all the shields he needs. So I don't think we see Plato suffering from the fact that they don't have a tank, because they are effectively executing that strategy of making Illidan into the tank. Unfortunately, they're just not keeping their squishies out of the way, and they're getting picked on with the superior stun ability and grab ability that's coming out of the Pleyz.
Plato is in trouble now as their opponents are about to hit 16 and have web weavers pushing. With this, they should have 16 any second here, and they're going to go ahead and push in on this keep that's up top. Once they grab 16, they will have some super important talents and should be able to pick up the keep here, but they do want to be a little bit careful. There's the Starfall from Tyrande zoning. It means that they can't really come in from this side, and you see them all hanging out up here because they know that they have to run all the way around here. So there's the keep. They've grabbed it now. They're at 16. They're going to back away, allow their web weavers to push somewhere else, and they're probably going to set up to either catch a gank somewhere or to help their lanes push and grab merc camps once the web weavers go down.
They certainly have the advantage in any engagement, so they could look for an engagement here. It looks like they're going to be looking to go to the bottom where the rest of Plato is not currently. They're going to look for a gank on Charm, who will be able to get away. Like you said, lots of escapability on Tassadar, so they'll just be happy to take down these structures until the rest of Plato wants to come out and play.
Yeah, even having these towers really low means that they can push in, and if they get a good team fight near the bottom, then they can easily go and take out another keep. And so we are seeing the Pleyz totally dominate the map. They're going to pick up these bot giants. Do Plato have enough for a turn in here? Because that would really help them out.
They do, in fact, and it looks like they are going to get that turn in if Apollo and King Plato are allowed to finish, because Pirate Ruff is on their way in.
That's a great metamorphosis, but already King Plato is getting pretty low and very separated from Brightwing. They did take out Kerrigan, however, so it's 1-for-1 here, and that's got to make Plato at least feel nice. Kerrigan's not in this, guys. We can keep fighting, and they're going after Yellcow here, who is getting very, very low. They do take out that Murd, and this is great for them to come back because they have web weavers pushing. They can keep pushing this lane. They can go after structures that will give them experience that they need to get caught back up in talents.
The momentum has certainly been in favor of the Pleyz, but that does not mean that Plato is irrevocably behind. There is certainly the opportunity for them to assert themselves here. They have gotten themselves to level 16, so in terms of engagements, they are not on unequal footing anymore. They're really asserting themselves alongside this web weaver, which is a great choice. Lex Uther getting silenced and will go down. They are going to get the pick. So in the last few seconds, they've gotten their first 3 kills of the game and kind of changed the feeling on the map.
Well, the web weaver on bot did not make it far at all, but they did at least finally pick up a fort. And remember, at the end of the day, you only need a fort and a keep to be able to head in and start whacking on the core. And they've picked up 16 as well. They've got 2 Blood for Bloods. They've got Numbing Blast, which is going to root people so that they can take them out even more. We've got Critterize, which of course we know means that polymorph targets are going to be taking more damage. Oh, we've got King Plato trying to get away from a gank. He avoided so many things. Oh my gosh, so much damage from Jaina dropping from that blizzard. And there is the Hinterland Blast from Falstad, but it's going to be Kerrigan who's going to go down. Yellcow is down to that Muradin, and now Falstad was taken out too since he was wildly out of position. This is going to be another fort for Plato.
I'm seeing great communication from Plato as well, because Illidan cannot be a tank without the rest of his team. And he was in severe danger, but he was able to get out of the way of Kerrigan's Primal Grasp, and as soon as the rest of his team arrived, he could just take all the damage due to all of the shields he has, and now they're going to fall back and take this boss, which is a great decision.
Man, that Illidan avoided Primal Grasp, got away from Uther so he couldn't Hammer of Justice him, and he avoided the Lunar Flare. He's like playing out of his mind right now to avoid all of that. That's crazy talk.
And they've not only closed the experience gap, they're actually ahead by a little bit in terms of experience now. Certainly, they're a little bit behind in terms of forts, a few kills behind as well, but they are narrowing that gap quite a bit. So Pool Plato is saying, all right, the early game may have been yours, but the late game is ours.
They've got quite a few gems, not enough for a turn-in. We're getting to that later stage where it's really hard to try to get a turn-in in, but the bruisers here in mid will be picked up by Pleyz, so they're just trying to get whatever they can to push back lanes. They're having to deal with this boss who is taking out towers at this point. He got one down, not going to be able to get another one, but that did help give even more experience lead to Pool Plato, who is grabbing the bruises of their own.
Yeah, we have 34 gems turned in already on behalf of Pool Plato. They are carrying a few as well, but not quite enough. Only a few gems being carried and 0 turned in by the Pleyz, so they're going to be looking to beef that up if they want to get any more web weavers.
They definitely are. They're going to go for these bot giants for now. Let's see. Oh, man, not really very many gems on either team here. At least more than half have been turned in, though, for the Pleyz, so that's definitely favoring them a bit.
Absolutely. It looks like they are going to fall back. They're looking for the safety of their turrets to keep them alive. They know that the Pleyz were in their territory. They're also going to defend against these bruisers that the Pleyz got. Pleyz are going to have to defend against the siege giants that are pushing in their lane. So both teams kind of taking stock of where they are, making sure that they don't get far behind the other. Still leading is Pool Plato with level 19, and if nothing changes, they are going to hit level 20 first, and I bet you they're going to be looking for an engagement at that point, Gilly.
Yeah, you know, the last spot where they saw the Pleyz coming in for maybe an engagement, that wasn't the greatest place. It was definitely going to favor Kerrigan because of the tight chokes, and they, I think, want a more open air fighting area because of Illidan and the brightening. Illidan can just run around, jump around over people, and they also would love to be able to get 21st because they know they have the experience advantage. So once again, they're going to back away here. They really want to just pick up that 20, and it looks like they might do so by going and grabbing the bot minions. Meanwhile, the Pleyz knows that they're a little bit behind in terms of experience, so they would like to force this before it gets to where they are down a talent here.
Yeah, and Kerrigan is really just looking for the right engagement here. She's had a couple chances to Primal Grasp, but none of them would have paid off in terms of follow-up from her team. She's really waiting for just that right moment, but she may have waited too long, as now we're going to see Pool Plato hit 20.
Pool Plato is at 20 now, and let's see what they're going to grab. They also have enough-ish maybe for a turn-in. I can't math this late at night. Looks like immediately we're going to get Bolt of the Storm for Vala and Jaina, so really concerned about getting caught out, as they should be. And there come the Web Weavers.
So level 20 and Web Weavers on the side of Pool Plato. There's a very small gap between 19 and 20 for the Pleyz, but they have been caught out. They'll be able to get away with a Divine Shield from Lex Uther, but that Divine Shield would have been better used on an aggressive tactic in a team fight after they hit 20, so that's certainly going to hamper their abilities if they engage soon.
Yeah, 60 seconds where Divine Shield is down, and now they're going to have to stay back and not be aggressive. And it seems like Pool Plato is going to choose to help their bottom Web Weavers push. That's where the last fort is. And so that would help them at least get caught back up, start moving toward those keeps. But the four top Web Weaver is already gone, dying to the catapults.
Yeah, it's worth noting that only 2 forts survive for Pool Plato, but they're evening things up because this is going to make it only 3 surviving for the Pleyz. And they are still ahead in experience, and they are pushing with Web Weavers. So things are looking pretty dire. I think that the Pleyz really need to, now that they've hit 20, get a really good engagement here in order to take back dominance.
Oh yeah, it's definitely still anybody's game, but they are moving toward this keep. They would love to get a keep because they've had a keep down for a while, and keeps down mean catapults pushing. And that is something that you constantly have to be aware of because it means that a lane is basically pushing against your own minions because you don't have the catapults. Now we're going to see Pool Plato moving away. The Pleyz want to come in and engage, but so far have not been able to do so.
Yeah, really smart that the Pool Plato knows that they don't really want to get near the Pleyz at this point if they can avoid it. They want to use the map objectives instead to keep pushing. which is interesting considering how aggressively damage heavy their comp is. They're just learning that they don't want to get anywhere near those stuns because no matter how much damage they can deal, they can't do it if they're dead.
Yeah, I think they're just really concerned with making sure they have the right setup, and it's very difficult to ensure that because of the terrain on this map. And because, of course, they've got a Kerrigan who can instantly pull someone out of position and take them out with so many stuns coming out from the rest of the people in the Pleyz. So let's see, we've got Redemption for the Uther. We've also got Call of the Wildhammer, so Hinterland Blast is going to be dealing even more damage. And then 2 rewinds as well as a Bolt of the Storm for Kerrigan. So now Kerrigan could maybe aggressively bolt. Typically people do not like to use bolt aggressively, but there is a possibility of bolting it and getting a pull on somebody.
Absolutely. They are going to look for gems here in the mid. They have 32 turned in, and it looks like if they get a few more, they might have enough for their own web weavers to spawn, which certainly wouldn't be something that Plato wants at this point.
Yeah, that's definitely not what they want, but they might not be able to stop it. Here we go with a turn-in where they're getting so close, 13 gems away and hiding, but a good Oracle from Charm sees that, sees right through that play, and they're just going to try to keep getting minions. And this is like one of the issues I think that a lot of teams deal with is at this point this late in the game, it's so hard to get turn-ins, and now a great stun on Tassadar, but for now he's still alive. There's Call of the Wildhammer on that Hinterland Blast, and Jaina goes down instantly, but Kerrigan's down too, and Illidan does help them secure the kill on Uther as well. Uther's going to come back, so watch, they're going to try to stay on him because there he comes back, and he's stunned right again, and now they're able to turn as soon as he's back, and Tassadar's got to be careful.
Evan Drinde in danger as well as King Plato is engaged heavily on there. Lex Luthor coming to help, and King Plato says, okay, fine, I'll leave. 3 members down for the Pleyz, though. That is certainly not what they expected there. Things would have been so different if they had managed to melt down the Tassadar, because that was who Kerrigan grabbed, but he just lived a little bit too long, and that turned the tides as they had a huge advantage.
King Plato, do you know that you're about to be, oh no, stunned? That was, I think, a bit of a misplay there, being up there by yourself, because, yes, Uther went down, but he came back with Redemption, and that's still 3 versus 4, and they were able to just catch someone out there, and so now they're probably not going to have to worry about that boss too much. They're going to instead go for turn-in. They're so close to picking up that turn-in and getting those web weavers.
Yeah, in fact, they only need 13 gems, I suppose. So they're carrying at least 8 that I can see. Yeah, they're carrying 8. They're gonna need a few more. That is a little bit of time. So they're sniffing around the boss here, either going for it or looking like they might in order to bait. Oh, they are fighting the boss, so they would like to get this. I guess they're banking on the idea that Charm, Apollo, Radlock, and Lyricals here won't engage, but they may be wrong. Charm with the Oracle checking things out, kind of poking at Pirate Rum. Pirate Rum staying aggressively there in the doorway, phasing those people out. Charm carrying 20 gems, so that would be a really valuable kill, but we've seen how hard it is to kill Tassadar. Looking to steal the boss. Will they get it?
Oh, the continuous wins is over, though, and they didn't quite get it. Yelka moving back in every single time, and now Brightwing is going down. Tassadar is the only one left there. Tyrande is down, as is Falstad, but it will be the boss going to the Pleyz, and now Yelkow is in a bit of a bind trying to get away as Lyrical and King Plato are on the case. They really want to take him out. They've taken everybody else out, and now with the Uther Ghost gone, they are going to be able to pick up that kill. So although the Pleyz did pick up the boss, they paid dearly for it as they were completely wiped.
It's unfortunate because this boss actually has a clear way to the core, but it's not going to be able to do much damage without some support behind it. Lyricals and King Plato are on the case, going to be defending. We have still, at the very least, more than 10 seconds for each of these people to be back up on the Pleyz. So this is where you start looking and saying, okay, was the cost worth it? The question is, what else is Plato doing on the map? Not much. So at least they've been occupied most of the time while we wait for the Pleyz to resurrect. But not definitely the outcome that either team was really hoping for. How cool would it have been if Plato had been able to steal that boss?
Man, they tried with that Brightwing and did so good, so they like jumped in there, and then Pool was Tassadar, right? Went straight in there using the Dimensional Warp, and then Brightwing was able to blink or to teleport in, or did she just fly in? I'm surprised she flew in without getting stunned, but maybe that was the case. They weren't just expecting that. But then dropping that Emerald Wind with the continuous wind, which means there was 2 additional Novas. But Yelkow did a really good job of making sure he walked right back into the circle every time the circle of continuous winds dropped. They got a little bit closer to picking it up, but weren't quite able to do so.
The Bruisers will go to the Pleyz. It looks like Plato is looking for these Siege Giants on the bottom. It looked like we may see the Pleyz collapse on that, but they did not. They are carrying 15 gems on Pirate Rum and 1 on Lex Uther, so they are going to try to get this turn, and if they do, they will have Web Weavers. Apollo looking to interrupt that, though.
Did not. The Apollo was just out of range with that multi-shot, and that means that the Pleyz will be able to get these Web Weavers. And now this is a problem. Their core is at 52% already, and the Web Weaver is going to spawn right up to this point. It goes to wherever the minion pushes, and they're going to have to take it out super fast, but on top of that, they're going to have 5 heroes of the Pleyz on top of them as well. So they're just going to have to stay as far back as they can while trying to take out the Web Weavers as quickly as they can as well, but the Pleyz are not going to make that easy.
Yeah, the Web Weavers are spawned in both other lanes as well, so even if this push doesn't manage to end, it's certainly going to do damage and push out lanes.
Alright, well Evan getting very close, will be the first one to drop. Charm was getting low, but that's Tassadar, man. He's already right back up, and now they're after Zeus. Nobody has gone down yet on the side of Plato. They've taken out Falstad, they've taken out Tirana, they've taken out Kerrigan. They're going after Lex Uther, but remember, there is a Web Weaver on this space, so Apollo had to come back. The only one remaining is Yelkow, that Muradin, but what can he do? He doesn't do very much damage, and Avatar is completely gone. So now they're just going to try to stop these Web Weavers from taking out any more structures, and Uther once again went down. They such a good job of following him when he ghosts, knowing that he's going to be back up and not just letting him run away.
These Web Weavers not doing much, actually. Really, taking some attention, but Plato managing to handle everything with grace. And now they're pushing on the top. King Plato carrying 15 gems, but aggressively taking down these turrets. Only Yelkow to defend.
They did lose another keep in mid, so that's now 2 lanes in a row that's going to have catapults pushing, and Plato knows this. They absolutely need to even this up a bit, and they do pick up the keep, but they lose Vala. But at what cost? Here comes Brightwing in as well, but they don't have Vala. They need to be careful. There is the continuous wind, though, and look, nobody can get through them. Kerrigan and Tyrande both go down. Yelkow's almost there as well. They couldn't walk through the continuous winds.
That was exactly what we've been talking about with this terrain. They got put in a corner they could not get out of, and that's going to open the window for Plato to get right on this core. Lex Uther and Yelkow being the only ones to defend, but will they be able to do it with 4 members of Plato here, all of them being hefty damage dealers? Lyrical's trying to save the last of her life, baiting them away from the core. Radlock, King Plato, and Charm just hitting the core, and it will go down. Why are they chasing Jaina?
I don't know, because that was it, man. That was such a good play by Jaina. The whole game, Plato was on the back foot, and then they finally started picking up speed toward that mid game with that crazy composition. And once again, guys, the story of this tournament tonight has been, it doesn't matter how many structures you're down. If you take down 1 keep, you can still go for the core, and that's what they did.
I just can't believe that using Illidan as a tank worked that well. Like I said, we see a lot of creative strategies here, and I love them, but more often than not, we see them almost work. That was so cool, because all of a sudden you have a tank that deals all sorts of damage, and somebody that you expect to be able to kill, but all of a sudden you can't. And that came into play, especially in those last 3 or 4 engagements, where we saw the Pleyz thinking that they had the engagement on lock, and then all of a sudden being dead.
Yeah, I think that another thing to to consider here is that they not only had that Illidan, but they had the backup of Jaina and Vala for damage. Jaina topping the charts in hero damage with 67k, Vala right behind with 53k. That is a lot of damage coming out on top of Illidan jumping all over you. And the Brightwing, though, I'm sorry, but Brightwing MVP, the continuous wins so that those 3 heroes could not walk through. I mean, we saw Muradin jump away, but by that point, Kerrigan and Tyrande were completely nuked.
We saw a couple times that Pleyz got caught in corners. I mean, like Uther
Mm-hmm.
being stuck over in the corner on the right side of the boss there a couple times. A lot of times that happened, and I expected to see that more with Kerrigan pulling people into situations they couldn't get out of, which certainly happened its fair share as well. But the use of the terrain trophy goes to Pool Plato.
All right, Pool Plato. Well played, my friends. Both teams, excellent job. We got some crazy, amazing games tonight. All of these teams really showing up, showing some cool compositions, so showing some cool builds on heroes that we already know and love. And I really love that we get to see that even just a day after the patch.
Yeah, so cool. And as casters, always really, really fun to be casting games that are so close with so many intricate things that could go wrong for somebody or go so right for somebody. So thanks to these teams for providing us this entertainment, to Heroes Hype for providing the teams the opportunity and us the opportunity. Really great week.
Yes, one of my favorite weeks by far, if not my favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure that you're following Heroes Hype. Check out their website, heroeshype.com. Follow them on Twitter and Facebook as well, and Twitch, of course, right here too. Anna, where can people follow you?
The best place to find me is on Twitter at Anna Prosser. I believe it's right below my face. You can check it out there. I also stream on Twitch under the same name. I'm also on Facebook under the same name, Instagram under the same name. YouTube is Anna Prosser TV. And I also stream alongside Gillyweed on Misclicks. On Thursdays, we have Eye on the Storm, which is our Heroes of the Storm talk show. So don't miss that. And we will actually see you there tomorrow, which is really exciting. I don't know if we've announced we have a guest co-host, but look on Twitter, on Misclicks and mine, to find out who it will be.
Yeah, we'll have all of that finalized pretty soon, but I won't be there tomorrow, but you should definitely check it out as they'll be talking about the new patch that dropped on Tuesday, and Kael'thas, who we didn't get to see this week, but I'm sure we will see in fine form next week as these players start learning him a lot more. If you would like to follow me, I am on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Gillyweed SC2, I stream Heroes every weekday at 3 p.m. Central Time. It's a lot of fun. We have fairy dragons and crazy things that happen every day, so you should definitely check it out. And of course, I do some casting here and other places too, and I'm on Misclicks like Anna said, so the best way to see what I'm doing is to follow me on Twitter. I always make sure to announce it on there. And that's it! Any last thoughts, Anna?
Just thanks again to Heroes Hype for letting us cast and practice our amateur casting as well. I love it every week. Really love spending time with you. Want to give a big shout out to Messiah as well, who started out this week with you, Gilly. So people be sure to remember to give him some love as well as we close out the night. And we'll see you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much to Messiah. Thank you, Heroes Hype, and thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. Bye.